what difference does that make? This was a dream, a fantasy. I mean, you said just
Shut up, Offsetter, and tell me where the ticket is.
Hey guys, good evening and welcome to my exciting channel. We're discussing Mandela effects and the life. Thanks for joining me today as we uncover the mysteries of the Mandela effect itself and find out the true meaning of it all. We must discover what is really happening, what is really going on here, to change these things that we know and hold dear to us. And let us help others discover the meaning of the Mandela effect and how it affects them and the price of milk. Thank you. And be sure to hit the like and subscribe down below.
I was just talking. I don't remember when I was saying.
Oh, it's okay.
With the Mandela effect, I just can't logically figure out how it is occurring. I see that it's occurring because I see the changes happening in front of me, but I can't logically think of it. There's tons of theories out there from, of course, the second coming of Jesus Christ, to aliens, to CERN, to parallel universes, the whole bit. But, and even with time travel, but it doesn't explain the residual evidence that we have. I mean, I have a file on my laptop, and it's nothing but residual evidence pictures. And if it was time travel, then it would have changed everything, and there would be no residual. I can't figure out logically why this is happening. Now, I know the Schumann resonance has been at all-time peaks, and I've looked into all of that, but I logically cannot figure it out yet, and it's bugging me because it's like a puzzle that must be solved.
Exactly. It's like one of those unfinished businesses. It's like kind of like the house you're trying to finish restore, but you don't have all the pieces.
Exactly, and it is driving me nuts because if somebody gives me a puzzle, I have to complete it. I've got to solve it, and this one I can't solve, and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, and this, well, guys, for all of you out there who don't know, this is I'm joined here with Stacy, Poor, is that right, Stacy?
Yeah.
Yes. And I myself, I'm a researcher into the Mandela effect. I've been studying this thing since August. And Stacy, how long have you known about the Mandela effect? Let's talk about that for just a minute.
I would guess about 6 months.
Okay.
I heard about it on a podcast I was listening to, and I was like, wait a minute. These people have the same memories that I had, and I thought I just misremembered everything. But then I started looking into it. I was like, wait, there's too many people to be a misremembering, because I have 2 college degrees. I was on the president's list. I graduated with honors and I have a minor in psychology. I like to look into things like this, but I was just like, okay, for the misremembering, it can't be that, because there's too many people misremembering the exact minute details. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure things out.
I know what you mean. So this whole thing about the health information, and now that's changed. Mary said she read from your post about it like 3 months ago or something like that.
Yeah,
and then this is really bizarre.
Creepy. Yeah, it gets creepy here. I'm just flipping through, just scrolling through Facebook, just reading it, and I see a post from a lady named Mary, and it stated that HIPPA law had changed. Now, of course, I'm an RN. I deal with HIPPA on a weekly basis. HIPPA stands for HIPPA, and it stands for Health Information and Patient Privacy Act. This is drilled into medical personnel from the day one of school. So, I mean, I've been a nurse for about 12 years now, and this is how it is. And she stated on there that it's no longer HIPAA, the Health Information and Patient Privacy Act, that is now HIPPA, HIPPA, Health Insurance and Patient Accountability Act. So I posted on there, I was like, oh, no, I do not believe this. I have to research this myself. This is something I deal with, weekly. I'm not going to believe it until I see it myself. So I started Googling and started looking everything up, looking in even my old nursing textbooks. And everything was HIPAA now, the new way. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This one's rocking my world. So I get on the phone with one of my doctor friends and about 6 of my other RN friends. Now, three of the people that I was on the phone with do not believe in Mandela effect whatsoever. They think I have just, I'm grasping for straws with it. So we're all discussing it, and they all recite it the way I know: Health Information and Patient Privacy Act. So we're going through all of this information, and we come up with a medical journal article online, and we're all discussing because the title of the journal stated HIPPA, HIPPA, like we remember. But yet the text and the body of the article stated the new way, HIPAA. We are all 6 discussing this discrepancy between the title and the text of this journal article and stating this doesn't make sense. How is this logical? Because the authors contradicting themselves, between the title of the article and the text and the body of the paragraph. So we're all discussing this, and I take a screenshot of it with my phone. I'm like, okay, we all talk about it for a while, and then we all go to bed. I went to bed about 2:30 that morning. I woke up at 6:30 to get my kids off to school, and I happened to pull the article back up. The article title had changed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the article title stated HIPAA, and it matched now the body of the text.
I saw that. I think I saw it. You posted that, right?
I posted it. Yes, I posted it. I was like, oh, wait a minute. This isn't correct. Let me go grab some coffee, clean up my contacts. Let me wake up for a minute, and then I'll look into this. So I did that, and I pulled it up, and I was just like, holy crap, I don't believe what's in front of my eyes. Of course, I immediately take a screenshot of the new way, and I call all of my friends that I was on the phone with the night before, and I'm like, okay, pull up your, the text that I sent you, pull up your pictures, the whole bit. They all have the HIPPA that I sent them. I said, pull it up right now. They all get on it and see that it's changed. Now we're all like, holy crap, what's just happened?
I remember seeing that. Because I was researching it myself, and I remember doing a video about it that same night. And it's changed.
And 3 of my friends that were the non-believers are like, okay, this may be something that's actually legit now. Even my doctor friend, the one that's been like, nope, the whole time, she was like, oh crap, Stacy, this is Mandela effect that you've been talking about. I was like, see, I told you. Look, this changed unless the only logical explanation is the author of that article woke up between 2:30 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. and went in there and manually changed it. That's the only way that it could have logically changed. But that's not the creepy part. The eerie part of the whole story is whenever I posted on Mary's original post that, wait, I don't believe this. I'm not going to believe it until I look it up. She replies back, Stacy, you're the person that I learned about this from. I was like, no, you're confusing me with somebody else. This is the first I've heard of it. She's like, no, it was you. I was like, no, I'm sorry. Maybe you're confusing me with another Mandela effect site, another Stacy that's a nurse, the whole bit. So I went to the search bar on the Mandela Effect page, and I searched everything that I've ever posted, nothing ever about HIPAA. Mary went on there also and searched. She could not find our previous conversation. But then 2 other ladies kicked in the conversation and said, Stacy, we were in that conversation also. And one of the ladies actually really creeped me out because she was like, Stacy, you told us that you were a cardiac nurse for years, but now you're in hospice. I'm like, okay, mind blow here.
Wow.
I would not have told them what I used to do for a living to deal with this unless I had actually had that conversation with them. That part I really got creeped out. I can't explain it.
Yeah, and see, and I'm looking here about David. People mistakenly call it HIPAA all the time when it's HIPAA, and is he? I'm sure he's trying to find answers as well, and I'm sure a lot of trolls are. They're just trying to find the big Mandela. This is huge though. Like I did a video the other day, and almost like there were like 12 thumbs up and 0 thumbs down on that one. in
Yeah,
just
I
the
mean,
first hour.
it's what it stands for: Health Information and Patient Privacy Act. I mean, the HIPAA is health insurance. It has nothing to do with the Privacy Act that we were taught in school and that we go over with our patients and their families on a daily basis in the healthcare world. I don't understand this, and this one's got to open up a lot of people's eyes. Everybody in the medical field, from rad techs to CNAs to doctors to nurses, to everybody that deals with medical has to know the HIPAA laws.
Gosh.
So this
Exactly. Isn't that? Hang on a second. If I'm not mistaken, isn't this the law? Right, where you know how you have to sign a release form
Yes.
to get your medical information released to another doctor? Don't you have to sign something?
Correct. It's the HIPAA form. Anytime you go into a hospital, anytime you go to the dentist, anytime you go to a doctor's office, you have to sign the HIPAA forms. They have to make you aware of the act. But now the act is totally different, and it's Health Insurance and Patient Accountability Act.
Yeah, it's something to do with portability and accountability or something like that. Why would they have signed that in 1996?
See, I don't know, and this is the first time I've ever heard about the health something and patient portability. I had never heard of that. To me, it was always Health Information and Patient Privacy Act. And everybody that I work with, we all know it as the Information and Patient Privacy. We don't know it as any other way. No, I don't know.
Gosh.
This one's a mind bend.
Well, let me tell you this too. I don't know if Mary told you, but she had it was something about the Revlon. I did a Revlon video on May 7th, but she seen my video 3 weeks before it came out.
I saw her post something like that.
And she had proof of it too. She showed me proof. I've got a video that we did. She had screenshots that had information. You know how the screenshots have detailed information?
Correct.
In the properties? It showed the date of like April 13th, I believe, is what it was. But
and that was before we even did it.
Yeah, I didn't re-up. She asked me if I re-uploaded the video. I said no. I didn't re-upload it. That was because I was there. I was on location at it was Family Dollar is where I seen it. Actually, I seen it because I wanted to check out other stuff too while I was there. That's where I also noticed the Noxzema, the O and the X were joined. I remember Moneybags has done videos on it. So what it boils down to. I think this woman she's not the only one that's having this problem where, well, it's not a problem. It's like she's psychic. She's seeing the future or another reality.
She's the common denominator in it, because I mean, when she told me, Stacy, we've had this conversation, I'm like, no, we haven't, not to my knowledge. But then she gives me information that she couldn't have known unless we did have a conversation.
Oh wow! Holy crap! You got Angela Wagner.
Yes.
Angela Wagner Denu says, Stacy, I could have sworn that we had this conversation months ago as well. I recall you saying that you were going to check into it at work, right? And this is August 23rd she posted this. She said, when I just searched, there's no post for me that I could find. And have you seen people's YouTube videos change? Like the little boy, Charlie bit my finger, and now he says something different now.
I haven't seen that.
You got to see that one. So
I don't. There has to be a logical explanation somewhere. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I had never even thought about timelines and parallel universes and stuff for ever, until I started looking into this, and I'm like, well, and then of course there's the theory on time where we see in the third dimension, we see time as linear, but time really isn't linear. It's all happening at once. And another thing that kind of justifies that aspect is that what is that show, Ghost Hunters? I think it's Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
Where they were on a show one time, and they were in some princess's room, and said, "Princess, are you here?" And she goes, "I'm here, but where are you?" It was like they were at the same time, at the same location, just at two different time periods, and viewing each other as a quote unquote ghost. It's kind of like that where it's like, okay, are we in different timelines and just timelines are bleeding through to each other to cause this? I don't know. But the HIPPA and HIPAA, I think that one's currently changing now because, of me witnessing it the other night. And I've got the screenshots. I saved it, and I've locked it on my laptop and, I've got proof of it as long as that proof doesn't change down the road. But I've made so many people aware of that picture. If it does change, there will be a lot of us that see it.
Yeah, well, I sort of let me tell you, I went in there to Wikipedia. I signed up for an account. I changed the HIPAA information. You can see it on my screen.
Yeah.
I changed it to the way it's supposed to be, HIPAA, Health Information and Patient Privacy Act, and of course it changed back the next morning. There was somebody coming in there behind me to change it back. That was funny.
Now, could this also be, AI involved in it? Because how many, people are stating that there's already an artificial intelligence embedded in the web where, hell, you can go in your iPhone app and download AI, apps. Currently, you can do that.
Yeah, that's right. And they talk to
Yeah,
you like a real human being.
yeah,
That's what's scary.
exactly. I mean, so there's already AI out there. You can see it on your phone. Could there be AI in the web that's changing all of this? Because maybe it's more, conducive for their train of thought.
I'm trying to, yeah, I hear you, and I'm trying to find that picture you posted where you have two of them.
Oh, the two pictures together?
Yes.
It's on, I posted it quite a few times.
All right, I'm trying to find it now. I think I sent it to Rena. Let me look.
Hold on, in fact, let me see.
Okay, look, and there's actually Jennifer Stanton posted HIPAA, HIPPA. She took a screenshot of it on Wikipedia where the title had changed.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if that was like just a random user editing. Oh wait, here it is. I see it now. I actually took a screenshot of your picture here from your post, and this is the same one I was sharing on my, and this is a PDF, mind you. This isn't like a website page or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
This was an actual PDF that I shared with everyone on on the YouTube, and changes before our eyes. Yeah, I see you posted that, and notice how it says in one portion HIPPA, 4 rules of HIPAA, and then it changes HIPAA.
And that right there blows me away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could see logically AI being embedded in the web and making these changes because it's more conducive to the AI's train of thought. That could be a possibility. Who knows? I mean, nobody knows at this point. And of course, higher ups just disregard this whole phenomenon and saying it's people misremembering. Well, no, it's not. I have freaking proof. How can that be misremembering?
I
So,
know. I know. You have proof. You have proof. I'm glad you took that screenshot because I wasn't thinking about that, but I did talk about it, you know. It helps if you talk about it, but I'm surprised your screenshot didn't change. That was weird.
see, I am too. And actually, I check that screenshot about twice a day just to see if it has changed. And I downloaded it in a separate file on my laptop. I have a file in my laptop that stays, just ME, and it's all residual pictures and proof. And I check it often just to see, hey, has it changed yet? And so far, nothing has changed. It's all the way I remember it. But this is more than a misremembering. I mean, I am an RN. I'm double degreed. I don't do drugs. Hell, I'm in a health challenge. I don't even drink at the time because I'm trying to do a health challenge. So there's no mind altering effects. There's
No.
nothing.
No, I believe you I believe you 1,000%.
I don't get it. Now, with the other day with Mary stating that we had already had this conversation, my daughter was in the room when all of this was happening. My daughter got really creeped out. She's 15 and she sees the AIs. The MEs. The one that got her was King Tut. My daughter had just studied King Tut in school and knew King Tut is only having the snake on the headpiece. Well, of course, now he has the snake and the vulture. That was the one that convinced her. She's like, "No, Mom, I just studied this in school.
No, he had a snake.
Yeah, and so that made her really believe in it. But she was in the room when Mary and I were having that conversation with the other ladies, And my daughter was like, "Mom, get off the phone. This is just not right. This isn't right. This is creepy. I'm freaking out." It was weird, and I just timeline change, quantum effects. I don't know. I have no clue,
Yeah,
and I don't know if we'll ever get an answer.
yeah, and I think we will, honestly. I mean, one day we will. I know for a fact we will. If enough people stand up and say, "Hey, this isn't right," they're gonna have to give us an explanation at some point. And we're not being violent or anything. We just want to know. We just want to know truth. Truth is something that we all deserve here.
Yeah,
If especially if our memories are being robbed, that's theft. That's
yeah, you're right.
you know what? How are they able to replace people in this reality? Like a person dies and everybody has a memory of it, and it's not a hoax,
Yeah.
and yet they come back to life as if nothing happened.
Well, see, I'm one of the weird people that actually remember Mandela dying in prison. I remember the riots from it.
oh my
I
God.
I actually remember Tank Boy being killed in the street. I remember watching that on TV and having to turn my head because it was gruesome. I I distinctly remember that, but yet now it never exists. And before I found out about Mandela effect, I just thought I was misremembering all of this because I was like, oh hell, I'm getting old. I'm forgetting all of this. I'm remembering incorrectly until I heard about the ME and everybody else having these same, you know, altered memories of me. Then I was just like, okay, this is too many people to be a coincidence. It's too many people involved here. So I don't know. Maybe one day. I have no clue.
I'm just looking in Google Books, health information, and patient privacy.
There is still a little bit of residual out there. That's why I think this one's currently changing now.
Okay. Because what happens is over time, what happens to the residue? It sort of disappears, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Over
my
time.
nursing book from years ago, actually, my nursing book now says HIPPA. Because those are for all the anatomy changes and stuff, I've been pulling out my old nursing textbooks. And I'm like, oh, hell, kidneys are up higher. I was a cardiac RN
Oh my
for
God.
years on the floor, and the heart is not in the place where I have actually seen the heart in a cabbage procedure, coronary artery bypass graft. I was in there in the procedure. I know where the heart goes, but it's more centered now.
What?
And people, I can't explain it. And people are like, "Oh no, you're wrong. You're wrong." I'm like, okay, whatever. You can think what
Mm-hmm.
you want. I know what I've seen and what I know and what I've learned. I worked the cardiac floor for too many years. I know there's human anatomy changes also.
Well, let me ask you this while I got you. Was there ever cartilage in the rib cage?
That I don't know because I did not. I never specialized in anything with the ribs,
Yep.
so I couldn't tell you an honest answer on that one.
I remember when I was when and not just me, many other people remember growing up in school and learning about the nose having cartilage and the back. But
Oh, you're talking about the nose or the ribs?
well, we're talking about the ribs here. I never learned the ribs
Okay.
had cartilage, and the sternum is actually a three-piece set.
Now I remember the sternum, and then right below it, you have that little extra piece that the xiphoid process is right below because that's you go into there for your chest compressions. And I was
Okay.
the Code Blue team, so that's where I would do my chest
Were
compressions.
the Let me ask you this too. Were the ribs were they kind of webbed at the bottom like they are now? Were they webbed?
Not that I remember, but
Yeah,
of
me
course
either.
I didn't take notice to the ribs because I didn't
Okay.
specialize in that. I
What
mean, I
about
can say
the
for sure the things that I actually worked on.
Okay, while we're talking about bones, one more thing I wanted to ask you about the shoulder blades, the scapulas.
Yeah.
Uh, does that look like it may have changed to you?
That looks different to me
Looks
now,
like
but
we got wings
but
growing out of our backs.
yeah, and actually my neighbor across the street is a physical therapist. She's the one I asked about that because I was like, okay, Christy, what does this look like to you? And she goes, the bone structure is different. She goes, this is what I do. This is how I make my living. This is different now. Because, if I'm not sure about something, I ask, a friend of mine that's in that field. I'm like, okay, give me your information on this. Now, Christy did confirm that the shoulder blades do look a lot different to her, the clavicle area.
Goodness.
But, I don't know that one enough to say myself, yes, that's different or not.
Yeah.
I just know that the heart is more centered now than what it was in the past.
Okay.
And I know the kidneys are up higher now than what they were in the past.
Yeah, and I actually went to, and I recorded the conversation, but I went to my doctor recently and had a checkup, and I asked him about the kidneys being up higher. He said his explanation was some people's kidneys are up higher than others. That's what he told me.
Huh.
That was his explanation. Some people's are up higher than others. My dad is actually missing a kidney.
Yeah.
I don't remember his scar being high up or as low actually. It's different now. But
Now, with your doctor making that statement, it makes me wonder if he is noticing the changes also, but just doesn't want to state anything to persuade either way.
probably he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to get his he doesn't want to get in trouble legally, I'm sure. No doctor wants to be faced with legal battles.
Oh, exactly.
So
and I don't know if it's true or not, but I've been told that the medical professions, the doctors have been told not to say a word about this ME phenomenon.
Oh my God, really? They've been instructed?
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard within my friends in the medical field.
How can so many people be wrong about HIPAA? That's what I'm trying to figure that out. I'm seeing all kinds of Google books, so I can't disprove it.
This is a huge one. I mean, this is, like I stated earlier, this is everybody from rad techs to to nurses, to doctors, to physical therapists, to dentists, to everything dealing with healthcare has to go through HIPAA. So this is huge. But like one of my friends, that's an RN, she works in ICU. She dismissed it and said, "Oh no, we just must be remembering it wrong." I'm like, "No, we didn't. No, tell me the truth on here." She goes, "Yeah, you're right. It was HIPPA.
Oh my God.
Act." And I was like, "Okay, you remember it?" She goes, "Yeah, I do. I don't understand." Because she's the one who's been telling me all along, "No, Stacy, there's no such thing as Mandela effect. There's no such thing." But this one's the one that's made her go, "Okay, wait a minute. Maybe there is something here."
Yeah, I'm looking at something here from the U.S. Government Printing Office in 2003, Departments of Labor, Health and Human Services. Are you familiar with that, HHS?
Yes.
Education and Related Agencies Appropriations for 2004. And guys, look at this before it changes. I don't know if you can read that. On page 670, it says research on rare diseases is often hampered by difficulty in locating enough patients with a particular disorder. To address this difficulty, ORD is considering the development of a Health Information Patient Privacy Act, HIPAA.
That's it.
I mean, that tells you something right there.
Take a picture of that. Because that is residual evidence right there.
I know.
That is what I was taught. Health Information and Patient Privacy Act. And that is what I state to my patients on a weekly basis. And their families. And my patients incoherent, the family gets the rundown.
So, how many people have you woke up from this?
On this one alone, I've woken up 3 to 4 people. And those were the nurses and the one doctor friend that I had on the phone the other night. And the title change. When we all saw the title change, that one opened up a lot of people's eyes. Because there's no logical way, unless the author, like I stated, went online between 2:30 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. Central Time and changed it. That's the only way it could have happened.
Right, and the thing about it is there's so much residual out there. I tried to explain to Wikipedia that this is from the U.S. Congress, and they still changed it back, and they actually blocked my IP address when I changed a couple other things. So, and I filed an appeal. So,
Yeah.
Because why is there so much residual out there? I mean, why don't you, instead of discrediting it, accept it? That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. For the people in the media, and for all those who try
Yeah.
to discredit, you cannot debunk the Mandela effect. I've tried to tell, uh, my family. There are certain family members. I won't say who they are. Some non-believers. It's very hard. You feel kind of alone and isolated, but we're together. You know that. So
Yeah. I mean,
thank
we
God
all
for
see the change.
Facebook and.
We all see the changes, changes happening between us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my dad sees the changes. The one that rocked my dad's world was JFK because he remembers that event like it was yesterday. And he always knew 4 people in the car, and that was it. And
Yeah.
now there's 6. So that was the one that made my dad believe. And then, of course, the Bible verse, Isaiah 11:6. The lion and the lamb is now the wolf and the lamb. Those two got my dad. My sister sees all the changes also, and she notices it, and we go back and forth, every few days on different things that we've noticed. But I do have some friends that I don't dare mention this to because they think, I've whacked out.
I know. It's like they
I
think
believe
you're a
it.
witch or a warlock or something like that.
Exactly, and I'm like, no, guys, it's me. It's the same me. I'm logical, scientific minded, and I can't figure this out.
Well,
Yeah.
for coming on my show today, how would you like a copy of Miss Julia Shaw's book?
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Her, you that way we know a little bit of insight into some of the false, supposedly false memories, and she even mocks us on the front cover. But
Ugh. See, and
that's
that's what's irritating. Why are you going to discredit this many people that are having the same exact, memory? It's just there's too many people to discredit this.
exactly.
I mean, people say, Mandela affected. I'm at the point to now thinking, okay, the people that are affected are the ones that don't see these changes because they're going along with the way it is. They're the ones that are affected
Yes,
because they haven't woken up to it.
yes. And what does Thessalonians tell us about this? That well, not only that, in Daniel 7:25, you know those verses, right? He shall think to
I
change the times and laws and stuff like that. And
Exactly, and a friend of mine, Trey, has mentioned that several times. He's mentioned that one to me because he woke up to it by the movie Bond movie with Jaws with Dolly and braces. That's the one that woke him up to it because he distinctly remembered Dolly having braces, and he was just like, "Okay, wait, what the hell is going on here? Something's happening." Because I know this movie. I saw it 10 times. I know she had braces. And he's the one that's gone through Daniel a lot, the book of Daniel a lot lately.
yes, and even in the book of Daniel, we have the word presidents in there, and I remember reading that back in January. I read the whole book of Daniel. It did not say presidents. So
Oh wow, that was a recent change.
Daniel 6, EYA discovered that, and I made a post about it, and you could see it was unanimous with the number of thumbs up with that one.
Wow, it's crazy. It's mind blowing. It really is. It makes you really sit back and ponder things. It really does.
Oh, how about the Last Supper painting? The Last
Oh
Supper painting where you have all these glasses on the table, and where's the cup? It's on the wall.
wait, what? I haven't heard of that MA yet.
Okay, the Last Supper painting by Leonardo da Vinci, if you look at
Yeah.
it, the cup is not on the table. The cup of the covenant. Last time I looked, it was not there. It was up on the wall.
Are you serious? Oh, as soon as we hang up, I've got to pull that one up.
Yes, and there's
Oh, that was
glasses.
great.
There's like modern day looking shot glasses on the table.
Oh, I need to pull that one up. Oh, and another one, the Grease song in the movie Grease Lightning.
Yeah.
Volta. This car is automatic, it's systematic, it's hydromatic. That's changed now, and that one convinced quite a few of my friends because we did a dance to that back in middle school and high school. So we
Yes,
knew the song. That's changed now
I
also.
know. I know. There's actually residual you can show your friends from Glee.
Exactly. Yeah, I've got it. I've got the two from Glee and also from Broadway. There's residual.
Wow.
Because Grease was on Broadway. I've got 2 clips of the Broadway shows, 2 different Broadway shows that say, how we remember.
Yep, and have you seen there's now there was actually two versions of Dirty, well, not Dirty Dancing, was it? Yeah, it was Dirty Dancing. There was actually two versions of where Patrick Swayze kisses some girl in the woods, and that's not seen in the old movie. We didn't see it, so it was different scenes were added in later, I guess, on the TV version or something like that.
Okay.
But that's not an ME. The ME is the part where she's sitting at the table with her father, I think, and it says doctor or lawyer or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And now it says something about an accountant or some other.
I
I
thought he was.
forget what it
I
says.
thought it was when he a doctor. I don't
Right, but
remember.
it says a doctor or an accountant, I think, instead of you have to check into that one.
Yeah, I haven't
Um,
looked at that one either. It's just
it's toward the end where she's talking to her father about the Patrick Swayze guy.
okay. I'll have to pull that one up because I've got all those old movies. Of course, I grew up in the '80s and
Yeah,
the late
same
80s,
here.
early '90s, so I have all of that, all of those old movies.
How about was it Rubik's with an X or Rubik's with a KS for you?
KS. I
R- really?
think I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
RUBI. Oh, I don't remember. I remember playing it, but I don't remember how to spell it. So I can't say either way because I
I
honestly
know.
don't remember. So
I
I
know.
don't want to say. I don't want to say.
No, it's okay. It's okay. If it doesn't affect you, then you probably have both memories now.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't remember. I mean, I remember playing with one, and I would get frustrated because I couldn't do it, so I would peel off the stickers and
well,
redo it.
well now they make them. Now they make them where you can't peel off the stickers. You have to take it apart. But but anyway, I wanted to ask you real quick about on a possible from Pee Wee or yeah Pee Wee's Big Adventure. And I
Okay.
noticed there's a scene where he puts his legs to the side when he's riding on the bike, and he puts his legs to the other side. Then he flies off, and he says, "I meant to do that," right?
Oh, see, I never watched Pee Wee.
Uh, when he flies off the bike, let me just describe it. He flies off the bike. I remember him doing one single roll. Now it's almost like he does two combat rolls
Oh.
before he lands into the kids, and then he gets up, wipes him or dusts himself off. I
Oh, see,
meant to do that.
I never watched Pee Wee, Pee Wee's Playhouse, so I don't remember now. Oh, one that
Okay.
threw me for a loop was Little Tikes, children's toys. I always bought my kids Little Tikes toys, and they'd get it for Christmas and birthday, and it was, you know, of course, little is spelled correctly, but Tikes was Tykes. You ask anybody, and they will tell you it is Tykes. Not anymore. Now it is Tikes.
Oh my
That
gosh.
that one's a big one, and that one will convince a lot of people
Okay.
because we've all grown up buying those toys for our children. But Little Tikes has changed, and then there was Thomas the Train. Do you remember Thomas the Train?
Thomas the Train. Yeah, he's now Thomas the Tank
Thomas the
Engine.
Tank Engine. Yeah, he's now Thomas the Tank Engine. That one threw me for a loop, but
Oh
that one
yeah.
didn't throw me for a loop as bad as Little Tikes. That
Um.
was crazy.
Yeah. That definitely. So you have children. How old are your children? If you don't mind me
Um,
asking.
no, my son is a senior in high school, and my daughter's
Okay.
a sophomore.
Okay. So they know SpongeBob, right? SpongeBob has been out about 10 years now or
Oh
so.
yeah, they're very familiar with SpongeBob.
Are you familiar with the way Patrick looks? The
Patrick is
starfish.
the starfish. Yeah.
Do you remember him having chicken pox looking dots on him now?
No, he never had dots on him.
Now he's got dots all over him.
No, he doesn't. Are you
I'm
serious?
serious. Look at him. Look
Okay,
at him
I've got
now.
to pull that one
Pull it
up.
up now. You'll see. It's obvious. It'll hit you like a ton of bricks.
Patrick has dots.
He
Hold on, let
has
me get
chicken
my
pox
laptop.
dots on him now.
Okay. There's no way. I mean, my kids grew up with this, and both of my children see the Mandela effect changes also, and
Oh wow.
so do a lot of their friends.
Yeah, my son remembers Smokey the Bear.
Yeah, I do too. And it's now what, Smokey Bear?
Smokey Bear.
He
And
has dots on him.
that's what I'm saying. You look at all the old uh,
He never had
drawings.
dots on him.
Nope, but he does now. It's pretty plain and obvious.
I mean, that show was on all the time. Bob the Builder hasn't changed, has he? That was one that was my son always watched.
I feel. Listen, I feel. overwhelmed because you know, honestly, like there's so much things we could do to create residue. I'm doing the best I can. Um, you know,
Okay.
I recommend everybody put up all the residue they can possibly do. That way, in case it changes, we'll have some evidence. Because see, that's what I've been doing is try to catch the Mandela effect red-handed. I actually did a couple times because I did a video. Can I tell you real quick?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I did a video when I was at Applebee's, and I remember the A and the P net were never connected. Teresa notified me that it changed, so I went there right away and talked about it. I did a video on it,
Yeah.
and now, because I see, I described the A and the P were like a 6. Now the P's are broken in Applebee's.
Really?
So yeah, and I noticed another thing that changed is Sprite. Sprite has a broken P in the logo, and it always did since like the 70s or 80s.
Well, see, that's what I don't understand. What is the significance of the changes of little things like that? Why would the Mandela effect occur in small things like that? I don't
Well,
understand.
and part of it I'm thinking is that maybe you know rings have to do with like time or protection. Uh,
Hmm.
Now we're seeing broken rings. I just I wish I knew the significance. Why are they doing this? It's like the R's are doing it. All the R's.
Well, yeah, like
The
A's
A's are
are a lot of
breaking.
triangles now.
Yep.
Now, another one like Tony the Tiger cereal. We all grew up eating Tony the Tiger, Frosted Flakes. We all grew up eating Frosted Flakes. Now, Tony the Tiger now has a blue nose instead of the black nose that we grew up with. And when I questioned this, they said, well, Tony's always had the blue nose. I'm like, no, he didn't. He had a black nose. I stared at that box every day growing up as a child eating Frosted Flakes cereal. But what's the deal with changing a cartoon tiger's nose color? I mean, I don't see the significance in that, and why little minute changes like that would occur. Now, of course, the JFK 4 to 6 people. That's more of a major change, but little things, I don't get it.
I know. And I honestly think it's there to divide us up.
For
Um,
division.
I think so. I think it's there to divide us up. Some now there are some Mandelas that I find are really weird because okay, there's some that we're all connected with, some MEs, but then there are others that divide some of us up. Like like I'm almost one for one on every single one with like my mother, some of my friends, and then
Hmm.
there are some like I remember in the Goonies, right?
Yeah, yeah, I have that
I
movie.
I have a clear memory of Sean Austin, and you can't tell me that it was Sean Astin. And I know that you may probably disagree with me, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, we're still friends.
Yeah, and see, I'm not familiar enough with the name to know either one.
That's
No,
Frodo's best friend in Lord of the Rings, actually too.
okay, I know
Sean
who that
Austin.
is. I know the face, but I don't know the name. I would recognize them, but I don't pay it close enough attention to
Yeah,
have the names, unless it's like a big star, Tom Cruise, Tom Selleck,
yeah.
or any of the big old
Well,
names.
I want to talk about something too, since we're mentioning movies. Okay, like
Huh?
your memory. When you
Uh huh.
watch a movie the first time, right?
Mhm.
There are certain things you remember, but there are other things you don't remember. You
Correct.
watch a movie again, and there are things you picked up that you didn't see before, right?
Correct.
You watch it a
Correct.
third time, and there's even more things that you noticed before.
Correct.
So there are people that have watched, like say, Back to the Future a
Yes.
million times, seems like, for these people,
Uh huh.
and they're telling me that different scenes have changed, and I'm like, really? So I had to check into that for myself, and it has to be changes in either time or space or something because I always remember I watched now this one's kind of hard with some of the younger generation, but Field of Dreams
Okay. Yeah.
and the
See,
baseball field.
if you build it, let's see. If you build it, he will come. That's how I remembered
That's
it.
what you remember?
Yeah, Is that right?
No, it's actually you're right in this reality. You're correct.
Okay.
The one that I remember is if you build it, they will come, and a bunch of other people remember it as well. And they is actually referring to the baseball players.
Are
And but if
the
you
baseball players are all the people that
yeah, yeah,
showed
yeah.
up
If you
to
build
support the
it,
farm to
if you
pay
build
you?
it, the
Yeah.
baseball players will come, right? That's what
Yeah.
the voice or whoever, maybe it was God. I don't know who the voice was, but see, I don't
See,
remember the movie.
I get so confused on these now. I'm like, okay, which way did I really remember
I
it?
know, I know.
It starts to become overwhelming. It's like, okay, wait, how did I remember this? But see, movies and such, I'm not a real big movie person unless it's like a horror or sci-fi, or like Transformers. I'm not really big into movies. It's things that I actually see. I'm a visual person, like Tony the Tiger's Nose, the heart. Okay, here's one that was weird. When I was in anatomy and physiology class back in school, we had skulls, and we had to learn about the skull and all the crevices and such in the suture places. And so I'm in class, and my friends actually made a big deal out of it because it was, yes, it was disrespectful and shame for me, but I grabbed the skull and put my two fingers in the eye sockets and held it like a bowling ball.
Oh my
My
gosh.
It's horrible. I know it's disrespectful. That was rude of me. I was young, and that's how I grabbed it. I grabbed it like a bowling ball with my fingers going through
Well,
the eye sockets,
since you mentioned the skull, I have to
which
ask
you
you.
can no longer you
I
can
have
no
to
longer
ask you
put the
this.
picture.
I want to ask you about the skull real quick while I got you. How well do you remember the bottom of the skull, like underneath the brain area, like behind the jaw?
Now the little point that's there
Yeah, the
now, I
points.
do not remember. I do
There's
not
like
remember
snake
that.
teeth. It looks like snake teeth. You
Yeah,
know,
I do not remember that at all in the skulls in class.
really.
That one I do not remember. I do not remember all of the holes in the frontal area of the skull. Those are all new to me. And the bone behind the actual eye sockets. That throws me because I know I put my fingers through the eye sockets, and my friends gave me such a hard time and gave me hell over that for weeks because I
Hmm.
held the skull like a bowling ball. If there were
Goodness.
bone behind the eye, I could not have physically put my fingers through there to hold it. But now
What the
there's bone
heck?
behind the eye.
What the heck? So I'm looking at the side of the skull, and there's this there on the right eye. There is this six that's made in the bone. Like what? Uh, but yeah, the name of that is called styloid process. It looks like maybe
Now, see, that name rings a bell.
that
I know
does.
that. Yes, I know that name.
Okay, styloid process. That's that bone that looks like a fang.
Okay, I remember that name.
Okay.
And let me
Gosh,
pull it up here.
maxilla,
Oh yeah,
maxilla.
I see it here. It looks different to me, but I do
Okay, so
remember
the
the
name is
name.
the same, but you don't remember it being like a snake
Yeah,
tooth.
I don't remember the look of it, but the name does ring a bell to me.
Okay. Yeah. Some of these changes are so slight. What about the holes in the skull? Do you remember those?
No, those were not there when I was in school. Those are all new.
And how long? Would you mind telling the viewers how long ago was it when you learned about it?
Um,
Before the holes were drilled there, I should
oh,
say.
well, I was in class back in the
90s. We talking
late
2000s.
90s, early 2000s, and
Okay.
I learned about the holes about 3 months ago.
Okay. So
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 that was new to me.
okay.
And I know people are gonna,
Gosh.
doubters are gonna listen to this and say she doesn't know what she's talking about. And I'm
No,
like,
no, no, no. Not at all. Not at all. I mean,
I mean, I still have my certificates. I made president's list. That's a 4.0. I still have those. I know my stuff.
gosh. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's crazy. And like I keep saying, there has to be a logical reason behind this. I just don't know now.
Maybe they're
Did all
getting
of
us
this
ready for
start?
battle. Somebody told me maybe they're getting us ready for battle to fight the aliens. Who knows?
Now, you know that there was a YouTube show I was watching, and gosh dog it, I don't remember which one. I'd have to go back under my viewing history. But it was like a history show, and it was speaking to German scientists after World War II that had come over here. And they stated in the program how they were working on a memory program, and their goal was to take control of the U.S. by controlling the memories. And they said they had it pretty down pat at the end of World War II. So maybe this is something like that that's coming to fruition. I don't know. I mean, that would be a logical explanation if something like that were to have occurred. I don't know.
Gosh, yeah. As you say, memory program. I looked up. There's a book called Memory Program: How to Prevent Memory Loss and Enhance Memory Power. Oh gosh.
But it was a German scientist on there, and he had left after World War II. You know how we took a lot of the scientists in over here? He was one of those scientists. I'd have to go back in my
I'm looking here. It's okay.
I'll send the link if I find if I can pull it up. Let me see, YouTube.
Was it like a Nazi thing?
Yeah, it was the Nazis were trying to figure out how to control Americans, and it was by affecting their memory. See, I know on YouTube you can see, history. Let me see where it is.
Because I'm trying to find it so I can share it with the audience.
Yeah, I'm going through my history now.
Oh, wow.
Lately, all my history's been on the hurricane, because I'm near the hurricane, so that's all my history is for the last few days.
Well, I've been telling people, actually I mentioned it on one of my other videos, like, my parents always said that they would try to rewrite history. You know what I noticed, which was weird, is they don't celebrate Columbus Day at the school here. Like, we used to have Columbus Day off when I was younger, and now it's like they make him out to be a killer, like he killed the Indians. So now,
really?
yeah, and down here they don't, I guess because of the Indian heritage here now, they don't celebrate Columbus Day with giving the kids off, which I thought was weird because they give it off. It's a federal holiday.
And you've always known, though, if you erase history, it's doomed to repeat itself. So why erase it? You learn from it and grow from that.
Yes, yes.
I mean, it's doomed to repeat itself. If you erase it, you've got to grow and learn from it.
Exactly. Well, listen,
I don't see it. I'll send it to you in a link once I find it.
It's okay. Stacy, again, thank you for coming forward, and it takes real guts to do this sort of thing, but I know you're just bubbling with energy because, something like that, when it freaks you out like that, you just have to get it out there. You have to talk to people.
Yeah, and I mean, the title change overnight is what threw me for the loop. I mean, and that's why I took the pictures of it, and I threw the pictures out there on the net saying, look, this happened in a 4-hour time period. Look at this. It changed. Here it is in front of your face.
Well, one more thing I wanted to ask you before we go. What do you remember about Ronald Reagan? Do you remember him saying, tear down that wall? Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall? Or was it tear down this wall for you?
You know, by gut, I want to say tear down that wall. But I remember it occurring, but I'm not 100% because I never really repeated that phrase.
I know it.
100%. But my gut says tear down that wall. I don't know. That may be wrong. I have no clue.
I know it's like it's so bizarre because now my upgraded memory is telling me it was always this. I can't figure it out.
Well, what was the old way? the Sagittarius arm way.
I remember tear down that wall. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. And now he says tear down this wall.
That's what my gut tells me. Tear down that wall. Now, like I said, I did not repeat that phrase over and over, so it did not go to my, long-term memory. I don't know. I'm just having to grasp on that. But, the other thing, the Sagittarius arm, that one threw me for a loop. When I was younger, I had one of those posters on my wall that said, we are here, with an arrow pointing to the outer skirts of the Milky Way. and we were on the Sagittarius arm. I used to watch that guy Carl. What was his name?
Carl Sagan, yeah.
Yeah, Carl Sagan. I used to watch him all the time as a child. Loved all of those shows. Anything to do with NASA and space. My mom would load me up on all of that stuff. And I know we were on the Sagittarius arm. I know that. I grew up knowing where that arrow is exactly in the Milky Way. And that's no longer. You know, we're on the Orion arm or something now, which is, light years away. I have no clue. You can't explain it. And you can't explain all of the other people that have the same exact memory on minute details.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a quote by him. Do you remember him saying, let's see, Carl Sagan, do you remember him saying we are all made of starry stuff?
No, I don't remember that offhand.
Okay, because now he says we were made of star stuff. It was starry stuff.
That one I can't say for sure.
We're made of star stuff. What? What? No.
Yeah. That's one of those, what the hell moments.
What the heck? It was starry stuff. It's like one Mandela leads you to another.
It doesn't end. Supposedly there's thousands of changes, and we haven't even hit the tip yet. Don't know.
That doesn't make sense. We're made of star stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't. Phonetically, it doesn't sound correct.
Yeah, it's bewildering. Anyway, it was lovely having you on and being able to talk this out. Thank you, Stacy. And if you want to, you're welcome to share this video with your friends. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, even though to non-believers I sound like a bumbling idiot.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Us Mandela affected, we actually have perfect memory. We actually have good memory. So.
I have a really good memory. I memorize, and that's how it sounds horrible. That's how I passed school with such good grades. I memorized everything word for word.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know about me, but I am an IT guy, and we are stressed every day with memorizing acronyms and things of that nature for computer science. So I have learned a lot for memory retention. I've had to read a 725 book in a day. So
yeah. It's just I don't know. Maybe us that have better memories are the ones that are not affected. That we actually notice these changes.
Well, thank God for you, and seriously, and I thank Mary Stevens for bringing this to my attention also.
Yeah, he was the one that kind of blew me away.
I know. Just don't give up. Don't give up. Like that song, "Don't Stop Believing"
Yes.
by Journey. Because life's a journey.
I know that very well. I'm showing my age now.
Yeah, me too. I'm grandpa age now, so.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you too, and God bless you. Okay.
God bless you too.
Have a great day. Bye bye, Stacy.
Bye.